right, this is my business strategy update, August 27th through September 2nd. I'm Brandon True, helping recruiters and coaches with AI automations. And I'm recording this so that I can remember the goals that I have for my life, identify the constraints in my business, figure out how to remove those constraints, and then make iterative improvement by tracking the things that I've done and adjusting how I do it. I'm more likely to do those things consistently and effectively if I view it through the lens of explaining it to someone else. So I'm going to record it just so that I talk and think as if I'm teaching. And then I'm more likely to batch this by only thinking about it in chunks if I record it instead of spreading it out throughout the whole week. And I want a record of where I've been in business and how I was thinking 6 months ago, a year ago. It'd be really cool in 10 years to look back on these videos and go, wow, remember the problems I was having 10 years ago? That's pretty cool how far I've come. So first, mission and vision, then analyze how the last week went, figure out the current constraint, and then current week plan. So mission and vision. Big picture mission to be a faithful follower of Christ. Life vision to raise a family, meet practical needs, have the financial flexibility to do that, have business skill, which requires social proof to be able to teach others, and then physical fitness to do all that for a long time. Requires certain financial milestones, which I've achieved none of. In the long term, would love to buy assets with enterprise value and reach a higher cash flow number that is not directly connected to my inputs. But right now I'm at absolute level 0. So last week in the business, my business constraint was leads. I had no leads. I had one client and needed more leads. So the ways to reduce that, sending Upwork applications. And there was one. LinkedIn content into inbound DMs was one. Cold email is one. Those were my 3. And these were warming up, ready in 2 weeks. Daily action goals were send 6 Upwork proposals, and I wanted to do, what did I say, 3 LinkedIn posts per week, add 30 people to comment list, and post comments on all my reply guy lists. So this was just send Upwork proposals with a Loom video. This was put 3 of my own LinkedIn posts out per week. This means I made a big list in Sales Navigator of all the potential people who I could leave comments for. And this means I actually went through, I took the big list in Sales Navigator and I made custom searches in LinkedIn out of those people. So like this, where I have a little feed that I made that's filtered by these 30 people. And I have several of those. I have 7 of those so far. So that's like 200 people that I have saved in custom feeds that I can go through. So I've been doing one of these a day. Post comments on all those lists. And then move the needle. That was it. I didn't have cold email yet. I didn't have any more complicated LinkedIn structure than that. Didn't think about YouTube videos or anything like that. Fulfillment goals. I got my full-time job, obviously, but I had one client, Lucy, and I finished the one job I had for Lucy on Tuesday. So I didn't actually have fulfillment to do last week. It was Wednesday. No other fulfillment. Keep full-time job moving, which I did. New systems I developed. I figured out the LinkedIn strategy last week. And the things I did for that were I figured out how to do what posts to write and cadence for that. I figured out how to find people to comment on because I always knew LinkedIn comments were important, but I never knew who to do it for. I found Sales Navigator and did that. Figured out HeyReach and helping me make lists and do connect with more people. Let me think. So post writing, how to find people to comment on, doing HeyReach, making lists of comment people, starting to do comments, figured out Whisperflow, which is this really cool little bubble at the bottom of my screen where I can talk to it and it does really good transcription. I don't think there were any other things in the LinkedIn system. This strategic review system, this vid, I built that system because all the reasons I explained above, but writing out this whole document that I'll do strategic review with every week, and the metrics thing, that was new. Speaking of metrics, time tracking, that was new this week. I have a physical spreadsheet. Looks like this. And I literally, with a pencil, write out what I'm doing at each minute of the day. So that's new. And then I had to make a digital one, which I will fill out while I'm recording this. LinkedIn, that, this. Are there any other things I did this week that were new strategic systems? Doesn't look like it. Decided against going into communities for leads. So that was something, I guess. Major calendar events this last week. Things that we did. Let me pull up my calendar and double check. There were no major disruptions, actually. We didn't really go anywhere. No trips, no craziness. Just sickness. Monday, Tuesday. Not a problem at all. Metrics. Okay. So I need to put a link to that spreadsheet. Let me copy the link. Actually, you know what? I need to share this with anybody watching. Anyone with the link can view. Copy. Hyperlink. Yeah, I gotta figure out why Whisperflow is always gumming up my clipboard. Oh dear. There we go. USP equals sharing. Did it work? Yeah, that worked. Cool. So, spreadsheet is shared. Input metrics into the spreadsheet. So, start with expense review. So, this week I spent $209.53 on business expenses, and we made $1,125, which means we had net income positive this week of $915. But the aggregate income of all 3 weeks, considering expenses, is still $50 in the red. But that's a good start. Time tracking. This is new for this week, so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. Let's just put this here. So, how many hours on Upwork did I devote on Wednesday? That's like 45 minutes. And that was it. So, 45. Cold email. I don't think I touched that. LinkedIn. I definitely was working on that on Wednesday. That was 7:45 until 9:30. Profile was until 10:30. Did the calendar stuff, did the about, the topics. Yeah, that was a really, really productive afternoon. So that right there is 7:45 to 11:45. To 11:45, yeah. So that's 4 hours. So I did at least 240, and then another. I should digitize this. I should use Toggle instead of a physical spreadsheet. This is too much work to put in at the end of the week. Well, let me set up Toggle right now. Toggle time tracker. Try for free. Sign up. into code. There it is. Save new password. I want to use my LastPass, though, is the thing. I can't do that. I'm just going to pause my recording. Okay, so my analog physical thing has been helpful, but I need a way to digitize it. I'll probably end up putting my iPad like over there, so I still have to walk every time I want to change my time, and put toggle on the iPad. Let me see. Oh, don't know what that did. Get plan free, track, timer, toggle for hiring. What do you currently do? Personal productivity. That's it. What do you plan to track time on? Setting up your projects. Connect your calendars. No thanks. Premium things happen. Prepare your first time entry. Okay, so I just put it in. So like right now, recording, YouTube recording. And then is there a way to like categorize it or tag it? Yes, there is. Okay, so I need a tag system then. What are my tags over here? I've got command enter to create a new tag. Okay, well, I've got Upwork. I've got cold email. I've got LinkedIn. I've got fulfillment. That will have to narrow eventually. I've got brain rot because that happens. I've got meetings. I've got planning, reflecting. Nah, that's not specific enough. I've got planned not work. I mean, this is planning, reflecting. We'll call it YouTube. We'll call it YouTube, just YouTube. Because that tag will include like recording and stuff. I think that's all the subsections. So if I'm going to tag this, I need to tag it with YouTube, and only that one. And then do that. Okay, so I remember when I worked in public accounting, they used this software for like figuring out billable hours. Yeah, this is a billable hours thing. Okay, well, I guess that'll be helpful when I have hourly projects to do. But for now, that is going, and I will do this next week. So, energy and time management. I wish I had a better way to analyze this, but I don't. Does time allocation fit with my constraint? Well, I'll have to figure that out next week, unfortunately, because this physical, it makes sense when I look back at one day, but it's a little tough to like really analyze all the handwriting now. Should have known this would happen, but I wanted to experiment with it. Metrics for Upwork. So if I split screen that and go proposals offers, this week I sent, which started on August 27th. Just going to do this manually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, at least 17. 18, 19, 20. We'll call it 20 proposals sent, which sounds about right. How many of those were viewed? Well, 1, 2, 3 were viewed up here, obviously. I got 3 messages this week. And then down here, 1, 2, 3 were viewed but not messaged, which should be that's 6. I got 3 messages back and 6 views, so that's 50% conversion there. Who did I have interviews with? Let me check my calendar. I believe I only had 1. No, I had 2. I had 2 interviews last week. Yeah, so I had 1 here and then 1 here. Yep, so 2 interviews. Hired, I got 0 new hires. And then I should have a new column for upsells. And that I had 1 this week. My spend this week is equal to the sum of, no, not of that. Oh, that's tough. Well, equals, and then my Upwork credits from the most recent week. So this plus this plus this plus this, that is outside the week. So spent $90. And that means that my return on investment is the 1125 I got divided by this, which is, well, let's call this a margin. And we're going to go this divided by 1125, format as a percent. That's wrong. Let me think. Wait, no. So it's, wow, I studied accounting and I can't figure this out. It's equal to 1125 minus this over 1125. 92% margin. Wait, no. Let's call it ROAS. That's really what it is. And then that's equal to however much I bring in divided by however much I spend. So it's a lot. And I could even do that plus the 10% of the Upwork fee, but I won't do that. I'm just going to call it spend versus income. Very, very solid. You're not going to find another platform like that. Cool. So what are my percentages? I guess I should have one for all these columns. Insert one right, view percent, and that's going to be sent, no. However many got viewed, oh my word. This divided by send, so it's like a third of them people looked at, which is good. And I'm going to add a cell here and here and here. Insert, is there an insert rows? Nope, I'll do them one at a time. Insert column right, message percent. It's equal to this divided by this. Boom. Go percent. Interviews, insert one column right. That's equal to messages, interviews over messages. And I'm pretty sure I'm getting close on that one. And then obviously no completely new jobs yet, although that might be a lagging indicator. That is equal to this divided by, no, this one. Oh my word. This divided by that. All right. So 30%, I got a view, and half of those they messaged me back, which means 1/3 of them they interviewed me. So if it's, I still haven't gotten a job out of it though. One of them they might reach back out, but I have my doubts about it. So that's my Upwork numbers. I'll reflect on that in a minute. I've been inputting LinkedIn as I go, which means it's the only one I actually have good numbers for. But this week I've left a total of 81, probably more like 90 comments being realistic. and then added like 200 people, 198 to my lists, and have done this every day for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, which is not a lot, but the consistency is starting to build. I'm really starting to feel momentum. Cold email is an upcoming project. So there's my metrics for the week. Bottleneck reduction levers this week were Upwork applications, LinkedIn comments, prep for cold email, sorta, that's for next week, and that's really it. So, how did we do? What do I keep doing? Upwork, for sure. I like 3 a day, is a good pace. Keep doing LinkedIn comments on big accounts. Starting to see traction there. What do I stop doing? LinkedIn comments on no-name accounts. I thought small accounts would be would be helpful for actually getting traction. Turns out, even when small people respond, nothing happens. Take moonshots. Start doing prepping for cold email. Write sequences, build personalization flow, and N8N. What else can I start doing? I feel like there was one other one, but probably not. In order to keep doing all of the other, the other one. Prepare for, well, no, this is just in these particular areas. Those are good. Start doing anything else. Push all Upwork applications toward calls ASAP. I have 2 in the pipeline for this week. All right. Because, like, the longer there is between the message and the call, the lower likelihood that you'll actually get the sale. Does my time allocation fit with my constraint? I wish I knew. LinkedIn is hazy. Keep going for ROI there. But I think so. Like, the amount of hours I spend in a day on lead gen between Upwork and LinkedIn and now thinking about cold email system is probably like 50 or 60% of my day. And then I still have to obviously do my full-time job and fulfill for my the clients who I do have. So I think it makes sense, but I'll know for sure better next week when I have Toggle to actually look at it. Energy and time management. What am I enjoying? How do I do more of that or more things like that? What do I get frustrated by? Honestly, I don't really have enough data to like know what I totally love doing, what I'm frustrated by. I get frustrated by scrolling Upwork. Like I'm fine at applying, but spending 45 minutes sifting through bad job applications really annoys me. But I looked into better ways to do like search engines, and I couldn't find a way of scraping that I really liked. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because the best job descriptions so far that have led to good interviews or messages have been the ones that have the least information. So scraping kind of defeats the purpose of finding those ones. But like right now, nothing major that I totally hate or totally love. I need to keep going to have data on this. Actions or identity, nothing really right now to think about. Like it's kind of keep going at basic things. 12 to 16 week horizon. Well, this is the start of Q4, September 2nd. So I'm hoping that in 12 to 6, like hopefully by 12 weeks, I'll have enough clients that I'm doing like at least 10K a month, and I have enough cash flow to like start doing more content focus and build up a YouTube presence and all this instead of just doing outbound. But we'll see. So this next week, the one thing limiting growth is leads still. So in order to reduce that bottleneck, I don't really need to invert this. Like the easiest thing to do would just be, well, okay, to invert. How to make this as limiting as possible? Never ask anyone for work. Plan scalable ways of doing outreach, but never actually just ask. Learn lots of skills, but never try to sell anything specific. So like, yeah, I would limit this by not actually going out and hustling. I would try to think about big picture scalable things I could do, and I would learn lots of AI technology. But all those are the opposite of what I want to do. What I do want to do is send applications on Upwork, and if I just keep doing this every day, client base will improve. Keep commenting on LinkedIn for visibility. In a week, start posting content specifically for my ICP. Prepare cold email sequences and automations. This will be a huge lifeline, hopefully. So, how do I make these bottleneck reduction levers, Upwork, LinkedIn, and cold email sequences actionable? Well, 3 Upwork apps per day is one. Add 30 to comment big accounts on LinkedIn lists. Leave comments on all my comment lists. This is new, big accounts. There will be one day where I don't do that, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be 150 to 180 daily, so that'll be 21. Leave comments on all my comment lists. I don't know what my number will be on that. I just have to track it. I think those are the only dailies that I'll have, though. The rest will be as I go. Ongoing fulfillment. Just Lucy. I'm building her. What's the thing we closed on today? The lead scoring system. And then full-time job, obviously, but not going to worry about putting that in here. New systems to set up. So I need a cold email personalization system, a big account commenting on LinkedIn. I'm mostly focused on small accounts, but the big accounts are where you can get your real hits that pull in a lot more traffic. Trying to think if there's any other things. Like, in order to alleviate the bottleneck, it's just have more outreach methods, which cold email, Upwork, LinkedIn are like my best methods right now. Maybe start doing cold outbound on LinkedIn, but I'm hesitant. So that's probably it. This is huge. Cold email personalization system and what's the word? Sequences. That's a huge thing to set up, which directly alleviates this. Upcoming calendar, Wednesday, out from 12:30 onward, but that still gives 7 hours of work. All dailies and fulfillment should be fine. Friday, out all day, Disneyland. Still do Upwork apps. Fine if I don't get on LinkedIn, but I gotta do the Upwork stuff. Over the weekend, Sunday, write week's LinkedIn content. And remember, constraint is leads. Upwork apps, LinkedIn comments to prep for targeted content, cold email system, and then always Insta follow-up. Nail your meetings and follow-ups. Potentially closing on the 2 upcoming Upwork meetings this week. And I might have 3 if some of the messaging I'm going goes well, is huge. Like, one more of those would blow the doors off this thing. So, yep, starting early. I feel kind of weird even recording this video, but it is what it is. I went through it, I tried, and I will keep doing this every week. Hopefully for a while, at least a year or 2, and we'll see where things go.